Hi there, welcome to Tarot Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Aquarius energy, and like usual, we're going to do 2 rows. The top row we refer to as high vibe Aquarius energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy. We all have our dualistic nature, our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, our more worldly, shadowy, immature, prideful, egotistical, defensive, the list goes on nature. And the worldly nature can just represent the way we're living our life, and to move forward in life differently can be scary, and we gotta battle within ourselves. Do I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams? Do I love myself? Am I willing to go get a new job? Just all these things. We have to debate within ourselves, and some people are debating within themselves right now, but other people have moved on in life differently. And when people move on in life differently because they've healed, they've grown, they've matured in some way, some people in our life, they're like happy for us. That's great. You live your life, I live my life. We're on different pages, we're different people. I'm okay with it. I'm happy you're living your life. Other people might not like it so much because we are maybe not staying in friendships or relationships with them just because, I don't know, we've changed in some way. We view life differently than we did before. So let's go see what's going on in Aquarius energy. So it's kind of interesting. In the top row, none of the cards are showing themselves. And the reason for the reading is what I would view as like the Queen of Pentacles energy, and the queens can talk about how we think and feel. The masculine energies can represent how we're presenting ourselves in the world and what kind of action we're taking in the world. And it's also the reason why the reading came out for the people that are moving forward in life differently. And it's represented by Taurus energy, and Taurus energy can have to do with our philosophy of life. At all these different ages and stages of life, we can view life differently, right? The way we viewed relationships when we were 15 was different than how we viewed life and relationships at age 18. And I think that happens throughout our life. And you might know some people, whether they're male or female, that are comfortable living their life the way they want to live it, what they invest their time, energy, and effort into, what drives and motivates them. And what you want to invest your time, energy, and effort into, and what drives and motivates you could be different. At one time, you could have been on the same page, but now maybe you're not. Let's go look at the bottom row. The reason for the reading is the Journey card, which is that we come into contact with all these different people in life to help us get clear about what our truth is or isn't. The truth sets us free. And we come into contact, we get in these different jobs to find out, is this my truth? And initially, we start out with the Star card, the Aquarius card. Yeah, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. We think that is my truth. That is how I want to live my life. And then we have the Snake card, the main male, the enemy, and adjudication. Well, the Seven of Swords, the Snake card reminds me of the Seven of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. On this card, it also references the Scorpio energy, which, again, Scorpio talks about how we're emotionally complex human beings. There's a lot of things we want to go emotionally indulgent in the world that we think would make us happy. That would be like a dream come true. But with this card also reminded me of the Seven of Swords. We also have our intuition, and people who listen to their intuition that aren't so caught up in maybe living more from their mind, making these things of the world really important to them, like ego and image or indulgence or stuff like that, they could start to have some mental conflict about it, because the main male can just reference that we could start to realize that maybe I kind of took action in certain things because I was kind of living more from my mind than my heart, kind of in my ego. And yeah, there could be things that I like about the way that I'm living life. But if I start to feel like it's more because of my ego or my fear or my insecurity or my codependent nature that kind of keeps me continuing to move forward in something, high vibe people want to work through that mental conflict. And then they might take action because the masculine energy can represent about taking action, with the enemy. Why do I do what I do? I, you know, it's, again, you could equate it to when we were 15 years old, it was perfect to live life like a 15-year-old. We were living the dream. But then as time goes by, life is about kind of learning lessons in life, sifting through as we go through life. What lessons have I learned? What things are good core building blocks to keep building my life upon? What are some of the things I'm ready to let go of that was kind of more of an immature way of viewing life? And I have to face my fears in the enemy card to hold myself accountable for my actions if I want to keep going on this journey. And then in the Queen of Pentacles, keep emotionally growing and maturing myself. I have to keep learning lessons in life of kind of sifting and sorting how I view life. And when I see that certain ways of viewing life, living life, it might have been appropriate at a certain stage of life, but I've kind of realized that now it could be a hindrance to me continuing to move forward. And that's when we kind of let go of some of our more immature ways of viewing life. Because in order to keep moving forward on this journey, as time goes by, I got to detach from more immature ways of being. Life's about learning lessons, setting yourself free from your more immature, indulgent, egoic nature to grow up and mature yourself, right? And maybe the Queen of Pentacles can reference jobs and career fields and your unique talents, skills, and interests. Am I pursuing and investing time, energy, and effort in my unique talent, skills, and interests or my career field? The Queen of Pentacles can also represent marriage. If I want to be in a more formal, maybe emotionally mature relationship, I got to quit spending my time maybe indulging in some other things and start putting in work and effort to bring that dream into reality. I might like to kind of indulge myself in my ego and these things I might like to go indulge in the world, but it's stopping me from moving forward in my life to really, it could even be I really have been enjoying partying and drinking, but that is stopping me from going to college or focusing more on work. Maybe I'm hungover, all these things. So the enemy can just be all these things that try to stop us from attaining our dreams, growing to our full potential, emotionally maturing ourselves, getting out of our more codependent, immature nature. And just like we have this dualistic nature within us, we're hanging out with different people in the world. We could know people that are more emotionally mature, loving, encouraging, that want us to grow to our full potential. We also could know people that we could be in relationships with in our friend group, in our family, people that we could have as romantic partners that don't want us to change. They want us to keep living life like this because that's how they live life. But they could instead of listening to their intuition and being motivated and inspired to keep growing and maturing themselves, they might be happy repeating this pattern all their life. This is how I want to live my life. I don't want to change how I live life. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. I like staying in my comfort zone. And they could be more manipulated by looking like a shining star in the world and whatever that means to them. Partying and being an immature player. Boy, I look like I'm living the dream. And if that, in their mind, that's kind of how they want to live their life, they're going to keep living their life that way. If it's more, I just want to look like I'm victorious and successful in the world, like I have what other people have. And if I have that, and I have a job, and I have a relationship, I'm good. I want to keep doing this all my life. I don't plan to maybe emotionally grow and mature myself or face any of my fears or insecurities. I just want to comfortably live my life doing this over and over. The only problem is they might also kind of live more from their mind than their heart. They could be more okay in a more worldly, shadowy Scorpio energy to live a more emotionally shallow, superficial life, making their life more about these things of the world. High vibe Taurus is kind of people who really do walk the talk, kind of like being a spiritual leader in the world, not getting so caught up in these things of the world where it's maybe more about ego and image and things like that, right? Other people might like to look like a pillar of society, but they really don't want to have to maybe walk the talk. It's like I'm kind of more about conforming my life to the world instead of being transformed by the renewing of my mind. And sometimes we can get in relationships with people who want to live their life like that. And we can initially get in a relationship with them. Everybody can think, wow, this is like a dream come true. This is how I want to live my life. Except that some people that they could get in a relationship with are kind of more motivated to listen to their intuition and not make their life so much about conforming to the world or living more from their mind than their heart. And they do want more deep, meaningful lives and relationships. But you can be drawn and attracted to people because you do have a lot of things in common, but one of them kind of does align with their more ego nature and might kind of like to dominate kind of and control people and doesn't like to step out of their comfort zone, doesn't like to be more bold and brave and confident or authentic in the world, because high vibe energy is about being more independent of your worldly egoic nature. And some people have no intention of ever being more independent in the world. I don't want to be more authentically myself. I want to conform to the world. I just think this is the way to live life. And then sometimes those people can kind of be controlling in our life because if they don't plan to kind of ever step out of their comfort zone, they can be kind of controlling in relationships with people because I have this way of viewing life that I find is like living the dream. And I have mental conflict about doing things any differently. And that can be shadowy Taurus, kind of stubborn, unwilling to budge, fixed sign energy. And though there can be a lot of things we liked about it, we could start to feel really limited and restricted and confined and almost like imprisoned because I can't live my authentic life because of the things that manipulate the person I'm in a relationship with, all these thoughts that they have about how you're supposed to live life and you're supposed to do this and not that. And, it's just all these rules and regulations instead of just living your authentic life. Well, no, what would people say? And we got to do this and we got to do that. It's just all these unwritten rules in their head. And then we could kind of feel like someone really doesn't want us to live our authentic life and like become all we can be because that's not how they live their life or what they thought how it was going to go, like thinking you weren't going to ever change, like because they never change and they didn't think you would like listen to your intuition and work through your ego or your fears or your insecurities or your self-limiting beliefs because they might never work through theirs. Those things always keep manipulating them and keep them like repeating this pattern over and over, even though it could cause them a lot of mental conflict too. It's like their own shadow nature or people in their life or the world that always keeps manipulating them, saying they have to stay in this box, in this square. You cannot live life any differently. And if they have people in their life that live their life like this, that wouldn't like it if they live their more authentic life, again, we all have free will of who we're going to align with in our world. And if we're in relationships with people, but their fear or their bossy nature or need to be in control nature or live life a certain way and just can't enjoy living your authentic life from love, high vibe people aren't trying to be hurtful or unkind. They just want to not have all these rules and regulations. Can't I just treat people the way I like to treat them the way I like to be treated with love and respect? But shadowy energy can be more like, no, you have to present yourself a certain way. No, you have to act like this. No, you have to wear this. No, you have to talk with these people. No, you have to go to this vacation place. No, you know, it's just all this stuff to be viewed a certain way, to look like a shining star, that you're a pillar of society. Even though all those people maybe can do all the things that you want to do, well, we can only do those things if we were like with these people. We couldn't do it like 3 times in a week, because 3 times in a week, that just seems indulgent. We could only do that like 1 time a week. It's like, oh my gosh. You know, anyway. They have things that manipulate them. And then we could find out that they align more with that viewpoint in life and other people in their life, or their fear, or their shadow nature. And other people aren't manipulated by those things, and they hold themselves and other people accountable when people, their own shadow nature tries to manipulate them. They're more immature, indulgent, lustful, greedy, prideful, bossy nature. They call judgment on it because they already know that those things kind of cause havoc in my life, and I don't like those things or people or the world manipulating me. But the other people let those things manipulate them. So then we have to call judgment on those people. And they could have called judgment on you too. You're different. You are stepping outside the box. Anybody who steps out of the box, we don't do that. We stay right here. I was like, okay, well, you enjoy your life together. I'm going on a journey. This is not my truth. This might be your truth. And just like some of you have had to do that with people in your life and stand up to your own shadow nature, I'm not going to let my fear and my insecurity and my ego stop me from facing my fears to become all I can be, like get out of my way. And sometimes we got to do that with people in our life. You know, I'm not going to let people who are being hurtful or unkind or bossy or controlling stop me from believing in myself and believing in my dreams. And there's some people who definitely don't like that, because some people also think I should be able to be the boss of you. I let all these other things be the boss of me. You should let me be the boss of you, and you should let all these things manipulate you too. It's like, get out of my way. I have looked at life from a higher perspective. I think you do live your life in kind of emotionally shallow, superficial way. And you enjoy your life like that and with the people that you want to hang out with, and I'm leaving. And other people could be doing that right now in the world. Some of you have already done it. And some of the people that are kind of shadowy, they're trying to deceive and manipulate someone else. I'm going to try to get someone else to think like I harness high vibe Aquarius energy. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I'm not more about my ego and my image or more about me. I'm not bossy or controlling, but they are. And it's just a new person they're trying to manipulate. I want to get you in a relationship with me. It's good for my ego and my image. I look victorious and successful. I look like I've moved on. I look like a shining star. Oh, just so you know, nothing ever changes here. And I kind of operate more from my defensive egoic nature, whether I'm male or female. I have a little problem about getting out of my ego and learning lessons in life, or becoming independent from those things, because those things I indulge in make me feel safe or secure, or I think they're okay. You should think they're okay. And this is how I want to keep moving forward. And you might end up finding out it is more about ego and image and indulging them in their ego or their poor behavior. But they've justified it in their mind and they think it's just and fair. They're okay living their life like that. And some other people are like, I can't live my life like that. So the whole thing is, shadowy energy can be about trying to create an illusion. Look how wonderful my life is. I'm a pillar of society. Blah, blah. And that could be how they view life. Life is Aquarius energy, is about living more from your mind than your heart, in shadow. And people could view life that everybody is trying to manipulate everyone else. Everyone is trying to create this illusion about who they are, so people will view them a certain way, so people will get in relationships with them, and they can have people in relationship with them and to look victorious and successful in the world. That might be how they view life in shadowy Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus energy, but that's not how. But we tend to think other people view life like us. You're not doing kind of some of the things that they're doing, but you could look very stable, grounded, victorious, and successful in the world. And some people don't understand how you're doing it because you're not doing what they're doing. They are living more from their mind than their heart. They are trying to maybe create this illusion about who they are. They are right now maybe trying to emotionally manipulate people to be in a relationship with them so that they look like a shining star. And they don't view you as doing that, but they still could think that you're creating some illusion, that you're more stable, grounded, balanced, loving, blah, blah. They could just think you're putting on a better illusion than them. And they don't know how you're doing it because you're not using the same tactics they are. But what they don't get is you're not trying to create an illusion or confuse people about the truth of who you are or manipulate people or control people or anything. You're really in high vibe Taurus and Aquarius energy. You're walking the talk. You're looking at life from a higher perspective, keeping life in perspective. I'm probably going to live 80 years. There's these things that I want in the world. Do I need them today, next week, next month, next year? No. I'm going to go with the flow. I'm just going to live my life and see what God's got in store for me instead of me trying to control the world, manipulate the world, try to manipulate things to go in my favor. I'm just going to live my authentic life with other people who I feel are being authentic and truthful and not being manipulative or deceptive or operating more out of pride or ego. And so what they don't know about you and anyone who also might want to approach you, some people are trying to because there could be some people that view you like a shining star and they would like to be in a relationship with you. But if they're shadowy, they don't know if they can manipulate you or not. Can I tempt you in your lust, your greed, your pride, your ego? And if they don't think they can, they don't want to be in a relationship with you. Other people have already been in relationships with people who are shadowy, just like you have. And they're trying to listen to their intuition maybe about if you are who you say you are. Because they don't want to get in a relationship with you if you really are just creating an illusion and you're not who you say you are. Well, the queens can talk about people not taking action. So, you know the truth of who you are. And before, you could have harnessed these energies in a more worldly, shadowy way. But you were willing to put in the work and effort to hold yourself accountable in the adjudication card. I want to get more balance within myself. I could have been more tipped out of balance in some way before. And now I have gotten balance within myself. I put in this work and effort to look at life from a higher perspective, to heal, to grow, to mature myself. I saw what kind of things manipulated me. I worked through those things so that those things aren't manipulating me anymore. And when you quit aligning with these energies in a more worldly, shadowy way, you are willing to cut people out of your life who kind of still align with that in a more worldly, shadowy way. Like, I wish you peace. I might see you out. I'll talk to you. For some. Others, yeah, if I can avoid you, I will. And you're now harnessing this energy in a more high vibrational way. So what are they? The main female, the key, the courthouse, and fulfillment. Instead of operating more from letting your ego nature run your life, you're more connected in with your emotions and your intuition. And the key card is Leo energy, being in life-giving energy, offering yourself love, compassion, forgiveness to get out of being tipped out of balance, giving yourself the things that you wish other people would have given you. And the courthouse, maintaining balance within yourself. I am taking action not to enable poor behavior in myself or in others. And I'm listening to my intuition. I'm being in life-giving energy of hope and faith and belief and love. Fulfillment, which kind of reminds me of the Nine of Cups card of being emotionally independent, knowing how to fill up your own cup emotionally so you can maintain your independence in the world, so you don't get caught up in all the shit the world tries to tell you. You got to look like this, you got to wear this, you got to act like this. It's like, I'm just going to live my authentic truth, treat other people the way I like to be treated, offer people love and encouragement, truth, get along with people. And if people are on the same page as me, I guess we'll get along. If we're not on the same page, I guess we won't get along. Now, before, you could have been more in your emotional nature. You could have been, and can be, a very loving, nurturing person because that's kind of what Leo energy is about in high vibe. But we can be out of balance in our loving nature where we get in these equally out of balance relationships where you're a very loving, giving person and other people are like, that's great. You keep loving and encouraging me. But it's not a balanced relationship because they don't treat you like that. So you could have had to curb. Taurus is earth sign energy of kind of being more practical and grounded. I might have to curb and temper my more loving nature. I might be a very loving person, but maybe I just can't. I have to be more careful about who I... Pentacles in earth sign energy of Taurus. I have to be more grounded and practical about who I invest my time and energy into. Like, I can know lots of people and get along with a lot of people. Am I going to date you or marry you? No. Because if I've learned these lessons in life, and I know there's people I can be attracted to that I could like to indulge myself in a relationship with, but I've already been in a relationship with people who are kind of egotistical or full of themselves, live more from their mind than their heart, kind of wanting to be indulged in a relationship in some way and try to kind of control people or think the scales of justice should always be kind of tipped more in their favor. And I've realized that unless they've freed themselves from those things, those people really kind of don't have my best interest at heart. Because of these things that manipulate them, they want those same things to manipulate me. And those things don't manipulate me. And the people I need to be in a relationship with are also people who have learned to love and believe in themselves, to get balance within themselves, know how to fill their own cup, instead of some people who are like, oh, no, that's not my job. I might look like a shining star in the world, whether I'm male or female. I could be attractive, I could be charming, I could have money, I could have status, blah, blah. I think because I have these things in the world, people should be willing to be in a relationship with me and indulge me. And then that, I am supposed to be the focus. I'm supposed to be, the center of your universe. And it's like, no. You can go be the center of someone else's universe. God's the center of my universe. I listen to my intuition. I'm my own individual. I have my own life and things that interest me. I'm not going to make my life all about you or indulging you in your ego. And I've learned to temper maybe my over-giving, over-loving nature. And now I require truth, justice, fairness, and balance. And people have to be independent of their more defensive or egoic or more worldly view of life. Because I want to be in relationships with people who really do walk the talk. And are balanced between their worldly nature and their emotionally intuitive nature. Not just operating more. This would be like someone operating, presenting themselves in the world. Oh, what's it say? The querent, if male, an important man in the reading, husband, partner, boyfriend. But in order for you to apply this to all the different people in your life, I view the masculine energy as just how people present themselves in the world. This is wearing bull horns, which is kind of Taurus energy. So there can be men or women who present themselves in the world like, you should want to be in a relationship with me. I'm this stable, grounded pillar of society who's emotionally mature and stable and grounded and loving and all that shit. But emotionally, with this being the female figure, they actually operate from more of a defensive nature, petty nature, jealous nature, competitive nature, prideful nature. Not That would be the opposite of high vibe Leo. That would be shadowy Leo energy. And it's like, no. If I've already seen the truth of people who act like that, I have no interest in emotionally investing in those people or balancing things out with them. I don't even find those as people anymore that I would want to have a dream come into reality with. And I didn't find the relationship, now that I look back on it, they're not someone I view as like a person I would want to be in a relationship with. And some of those people still don't know that. Sometimes there can be shadowy people in our life who are doing all this work and effort, some, like, oh, look, I'm going to do this. I bet that'll bother them. Oh, I bet that'll get them up in their head. Oh, I bet any day now they're going to want to come back and be in a relationship with you. And what some of those people don't know is you've kind of reconciled yourself with it. You did see through the illusion. And some of those people are still kind of full of themselves and think, oh, no, I'm sure they'll be back any day now. And you're like, no, I'm not interested. So tell us what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy. What's coming up that they might not see coming? We had a very big chunk, and I don't want to do a big chunk, so. Some people are competing with you. That's shadowy energy, shadowy Leo, competitive energy. Trying to like outshine you or something, and you're not trying to outshine anyone. You're just living your authentic life. But by being a just and fair and loving and stable, grounded person, you just kind of shine naturally in the world, and they don't like it. And there could be people really trying to maybe get people, because shadowy energy again can be trying to confuse people about the truth. Could be trying to confuse people about the truth of who you are, trying to confuse people about the truth of who they are. And I think you're like, you do what you want to do. I'm just going to go live my authentic life. I am at peace within myself. I think the truth comes out in the end. So I'm just going to live my life. The Ten of Cups, the King of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Seven of Swords. Again, we come into contact with all these different people in the world to help us get clear about our truth. And you did come in contact with some people that harness more shadowy Aquarius energy in the Seven of Swords. And it could have had all these things about it that you kind of wanted in the world in a lot of ways. But you could have found, again, people you felt being deceptive or manipulative, didn't have your best interest at heart, maybe wanted you to not love and believe in yourself or shine your light or invest in your own unique talent, skills, and interests. And eventually you kind of had to call judgment on them. And you got clear about your truth. And in the King of Swords, you took action to stand up for your truth. If we're going to be in a long-term relationship that's emotionally fulfilling, people should harness high vibe Libra energy. They should be just and fair and truthful and honest, not deceptive and manipulative or egotistical or self-centered. Shadowy Aquarius can be people who are like, well, I want to be in a relationship with you, but I do think everyone else in this relationship should be willing to put aside their pride and ego, but not me, because I'm like the star of the show. So it's more about them. I was like, that's not just and fair. For some reason, you think you're more important, or your wants and needs, or blah, 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 are more important than anybody else's. Well, I don't think that's just and fair. And I've seen the truth. You harness your Aquarius energy differently. Your Libra energy, your Taurus energy, your Nine of Cups, what you find emotionally fulfilling in life and your idea of the dream life and the dream relationship is different than my idea. And I see the truth of it, and I'm no longer confused about it. I worked through all of it. I've gotten to the truth. And now I'm taking action and investing my time, energy, and effort into people who I think are on the same page as me, and it's not you. And you're happy. Feel at balance within yourself. Feel at peace within yourself. Investing in the people in your life and your unique talent, skills, interests, or career field to putting in work and effort to bring a dream into reality. And as you do that, there's going to be other people who see that you are who you say you are. And they are going to want to move forward with you in a relationship because they see the truth that you're not harnessing your Aquarius energy in a more shadowy way. You're not trying to deceive and manipulate people. You're not trying to control people. You're just speaking your truth in love to people who wants to move forward with me in this way. The people that are more aligned with their emotionally intuitive nature, who don't get caught up in their head and like ignore their intuition, those people would probably know that I'm speaking the truth and telling the truth. And the people who don't, I guess they get caught up all in their head and their fear about it. And I guess then that means we're really not on the same page. What's coming up for people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy? The Knight of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Death card. So anybody who's being deceptive or bossy or controlling or egotistical or kind of self-centered or more about the ego and the image or superficial and shallow, they could have some people in their life that have been wanting to move forward with them in the Knight of Pentacles. But eventually those people see the truth. You're unwilling to change. The Death card, nothing ever changes. Again, the Death card is about, we close out an old way of living life to give birth to a new way of living life. And the Virgo Knight of Pentacles is in truth and love. We've done some of the inner work to work through the things that manipulate us, to detach from that old way of viewing life and our defensive nature and our more immature, bossy, egotistical ways of being, to move forward in truth and love. And eventually people in their life who've been trying to get them to do this eventually say, I wish you peace, I'm leaving. Because nothing ever changes here. And then it's also kind of seeing the truth. We can all be those loving, nurturing people like, oh my gosh, I'm going to save this person. I'm going to love them. They're going to change. We shouldn't be trying to change people. It's one thing and we learn the lesson, I can like people. I can have love for people. Do I want to invest more time, energy, and effort or date you? No. And that's a hard lesson to learn because I don't want to try to change people. To change and connect in and get balance within yourself and speak your truth and be more independent. Those are all free will choices that people have to make within themselves. And if that's not how you're living your life, I'm no longer going to try to change people. If they're in non-life-giving energy, I see the truth of it and I move on. I listen to my intuition. Where before, when I could have gotten in some of these relationships, my intuition was screaming at me not to do it, but I did it anyway. Not anymore. Now I do listen to my intuition and I speak my truth. And I speak my truth and I'm clear about my truth and what my dreams are and how I expect things to that people work together cooperatively in truth and justice and fairness and being authentic and being warm and being loving and emotionally mature. I do all of that before I emotionally get in a more involved relationship with them. Where before I maybe didn't do that. I was always thinking, oh, they'll change. And so eventually they have people leave them because they are kind of shadowy in some way, or unloving, or unjust, or unfair, or emotionally shallow and superficial, more about ego and image instead of truth and love. And again, there could be some people getting out of relationships with people that are like that right now because they see the truth. Why do I keep trying to change other people and get them to look at life from a higher perspective? Why don't I just go start investing my time, energy, and effort into people who I already think are on the same page as me? Or at least quit investing in people who I've seen the truth aren't on the same page as me, and go live my life. And maybe somewhere along the way I'll meet someone who is more on the same page as me. And then I won't be tangled up in a relationship that I shouldn't be in to begin with. So there you go, Aquarius energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.